What's going on, everybody? So I'm going to take this opportunity to say that I believe that we are officially kicking off Christmas on YouTube right here. We have a great guest tonight, Christmas Clatter. Todd. Todd and I have been getting to know each other the last, I'd say, several weeks. He does some all Christmas content. So if you're into Christmas, definitely want to check out his channel. I do have it pinned to the top of the chat, so you can check out his channel there. It's called Christmas Clatter. But we'll get to know Todd. I appreciate all you guys being here. As you can see, Mel did get a hold of the studio, so we have a Christmas tree. We've got lights. I broke out the Christmas hoodie. We got everything going on. So I appreciate everybody that's here. I've seen a lot of you guys so far. Let's see. Casey, what's going on, man? Your wife is on your case about decorations. Hey, like I say with Mel, if it makes her happy, I'm okay with it. I'm completely fine with it. So she likes Christmas more than I do. I mean, I love Christmas, but if it was up to her, we'd have Christmas stuff up all year round. And I don't know. So E-Rock put up Christmas lights already. Nice. If you guys like Christmas, this is the stream to be at. Who else we got here? I want to make sure I don't miss anybody before we bring Todd in. I think I've said hello to everybody. Hey, what's up, Corey? Good to see you. Good to see you. Don't want Christmas all year long because it'll cost too much money. It doesn't have to, but I know what you mean. I absolutely know what you mean. What's up, Ray? I see you, man. Based on that intro, I should smile. You know what? Maybe I cut the wrong clips out of videos. When I'm in my element, demonstrating something, I guess it gets more serious. I don't know. Dole Whip Dad says, I will say it. Merry Christmas all. Absolutely. Merry Christmas. Let's get it started. We're only a few weeks away from Thanksgiving, so it's not too early, right? What's up, Daniel? Good to see you, man. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. It is. Never Call Me Again Live. How are you, sir? I found out today that this gentleman is a Packers fan, so let's do this the right way. Even though we lost yesterday, heartbreaking. Let's give him one of those.
Go, Pack, go!
Go, Pack, go. Even though we lost, I'll play the sound anyway, and that's all right. So we have, what's up, Bearded Cheesehead? Good to see you. Gary made the same comment earlier, but he didn't have the edited version, so I didn't put it on screen. But I did see it, Gary. Yeah, it's the spirit of the season that should be year-round. Oh, absolutely, for sure. And I think 2021, a lot like 2020, I think it's just the way the last couple of years have been. I think people are just ready for stuff that makes them happy, and what makes people happier than Christmas, So, no, I didn't kick him off. He's coming right in, Gary. He's coming right in. Festivus, yes, Festivus. That is actually my fantasy football team name, a Festivus Miracle. It has been for about 15 years now. What's up, Dan? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. What's up, John? Yeah, for sure. We win some, we lose some. All right, I think we are through. So, hey, let's not waste any more of Todd's time. So, again, Christmas Clatter, Todd. He does Christmas content all year long, so if you love Christmas, definitely the channel you want to subscribe to. So let's go ahead and bring him in. Hey, Todd, how are you, brother?
Fine, Ken. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I appreciate you coming on and hanging out. It seems like, we didn't plan it this way, but it seems like a great way to kick off the Christmas season here.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, we're into, November now, and a lot of people are, get full steam ahead on Christmas and right after Halloween, and then once Black Friday hits, I call that all-in day. That's when everybody is all aboard for Christmas because you just got past Thanksgiving. So right. I'd say probably 80% of people are ready for Christmas, early November. So
yeah, I would say so too. Like I said, I think the last 2 years of just the way things have been, it seems like more people are okay with Christmas coming earlier. I don't know. I know it around here it seems that way.
Yeah, it was. It's funny. I was talking to a Christmas podcast friend of mine early 2020, maybe late 2019, before everything just went the way it did, and I told him, I said, I can see Christmas becoming accepted as a year-round thing, and then we had the pandemic, and then in April, a lot of there was radio stations that switched to like Christmas programming, and Hallmark played a few weekends of Christmas music just to kind of give everybody that nice warm blanket that Christmas can provide at times, that just kind of makes you feel good and kind of puts you at peace and put you in a nice frame of mind. So, there's a lot to say about, Christmas and the state of mind and, uh, and the mindset you have to be a part of it. So,
Yeah, and I know here, like I said, it makes Mel happy. So if she wants to put the Christmas tree up in
yeah,
October, I'm okay with that. If she's
yeah,
happy, I'm happy.
yeah.
So Dan C says that's an aggressive shirt.
Yeah, that's my candy cane shank. Everybody's done it a time or two. So,
So yeah,
and
Gary said the same thing. Is his candy cane shirt a knife cane? Yeah, I think so.
yeah, so yeah, it's just one of those things that I did as a kid, and my kids do it, and it's just a lot of fun. So,
That's why
but,
candy canes aren't allowed in jails. There you go. All right, so again, Todd's channel is all about Christmas. I saw a question just now. Bearded Vato said, does he only put out content for Christmas season? And no, he does all year
no,
round. We are definitely going to get into that. He's got a podcast. He has some great interviews. I mean, some celebrity interviews that we're definitely going to talk about. But Todd, before we get to that, if you don't mind, let us know a little something about yourself. Back before content creation, who is Todd?
well, before I did any, put out anything, of course, I'm a lifelong Christmas fan. I get it honestly from my mom, and it's the roots run deep. And I was always into Christmas, and I'm a letter carrier for the Postal Service by trade. I've been doing that 16 years now. Uh, carrying a mail route, and husband, and have 4 kids, so those keep me busy. And then late, you know, 2018, early 2019, I decided to try my hand in the podcast game, and I was a big fan of the few Christmas podcasts that were around at the time, which has since exploded. There is a whole Christmas podcast community um, of, I don't know, a couple hundred podcasts or so.
Oh,
And
nice.
but at the time when I got in, there was a handful or two at the most. And there was a guy, Brian Earl, who still podcasts, who does Christmas Past podcast, and he's not the first Christmas podcaster, but kind of like the godfather of it. He's the first one to really get some serious traction and stuff. And he was always real open and encouraging. And in fact, he helped me get started. He's the one that designed my logo for me and gave me a lot of pointers. And I decided to try my hand at it because I was wanting to do something. And everybody talks about niching down. It's like, what's the one thing I could talk about all the time and not get tired of it? And I
Right.
have lots of interests. I do lots of different things, but Christmas was the thing that just always rang my bell each and every time. So
I have a feeling if my wife ever got into content creation, it would either be baking or Christmas. I don't know which one she would choose, but
yeah, you could combine both of them.
right. So Billy, okay, so Billy says you can get candy canes in jail. He's actually a prison guard down in Georgia, so
Ah,
so he would know. Yeah,
yeah.
just going back to that. Yep. So, all right. So let's talk about Christmas, right? Because
All
your
right.
your whole channel is designed around Christmas, and I've said it a
Uh-huh.
hundred times, and I think most creators um, who have been doing this, they understand this, and something you're really passionate about is
Mhm.
9 times out of 10 going to be the best thing you can create content around because you're never going to run out of ideas.
Yeah.
You won't. I don't feel like you'd burn out as easy because you love doing it so much. I mean, you still need breaks and stuff like that, but
Right.
I think that passion would just carry you through that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
So, tell us about your love for Christmas. I'm assuming this is a lifelong love.
Oh yeah, it is. I mean, my mom is she's a traditional Christmas crazy. She's 71 years old now, and she's still putting up 25 trees this year in her house, and decorating it all up and things. And I get that from her. I don't put up that many trees for lack of room, but I would if I could. But I really remember clicking with me. I guess it was Christmas of 1999. It was like my first Christmas not living at home. And it just didn't feel like Christmas. It was like something was missing. And it's like, I went to mom and dad's for a while to visit or eat supper or something. I don't remember what it was. And, it was like walking in. Of course, I didn't really know it at the time, but it felt like walking into what a Hallmark movie is. Everything's decorated, and she was, there's a little bit of music playing, and she was cooking and all this and that. And I was like, oh, this is what Christmas is supposed to feel like. And then I like go to my house and it's like, yeah, there's decorations up, but it was like dark and just didn't feel right. And it clicked with me. It's like, if I want Christmas, then I got to make Christmas happen. It just doesn't happen by itself, So you got to put in the effort to, to bring that warmth to it, and that feeling. It's just, it just doesn't. And from then on, it just really clicked. And I just did, everything I could to make my home feel as warm and inviting as Christmas is. And then once I had, my first kid, then I just doubled down, and then I doubled down on my double down on the second one, and so on through four, and then we're here where we're at, and there's just so much to talk about with Christmas. You can dive into the history because the history is absolutely fascinating. If you dig, Christmas is older than the nativity, and that's a lot of, that's really interesting history to follow. There was a time when Christmas was outlawed by the Puritans, and that's a, interesting thing to look at. And so you can dive into the history, and then there's the music and the movies and the, you know, heck, the history of wrapping paper, from the Hallmark Company is a great story. Just so much to get into, and that's one reason I did Christmas clatter. Clatter is a word that's not used much anymore, and it's really associated with Christmas because of the night before Christmas there arose such a clatter. It's just a word that means noise, so it's basically Christmas noise is basically what Christmas clatter is. Because at the time when I started it as a podcast, all the podcasts were like focused on either like the history or TV or movies or music, but there wasn't one that was like just a general Christmas topic that would touch on anything and everything Christmas. And so that's what I started with Christmas Clatter. It's just going to be, kind of, I don't want to say catch all, but just kind of I like to think of it as those old Christmas variety shows where you'll have someone do a comedy skit, then somebody come sing and dance, and then you'll have that serious, moment where everybody like sings Silent Night, at the end. And so I always say, we celebrate everything that makes Christmas special, and even those quiet moments of reflection that happen at the holidays.
Yeah, and I heard about probably 5 to 10 different video ideas in what you were just saying
Yeah,
that you can make
yeah,
videos on.
yeah. I have a list as long as my arm, and about different things you can do, and there's so much. And then on top of that, because I am kind of an open book for Christmas this time of year, I get a lot of people that are writing books that are Christmas themed or putting out Christmas albums, and they want to come on the podcast and YouTube channel, to help promote that. And when I first started doing it, it's like, welcome everybody. I was just excited to have somebody that want to come on. But now I'm at the point where I can kind of pick and choose who I want, and if I connect with what they're doing, and it's then I'll have them on and help them promote it, and I'm happy to do it. And it's a lot of fun. And and then so then but I don't want to be, I don't want to turn Christmas Clatter into a commercial for everybody all the time, but there's a time and place to help, with that kind of thing. So
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
yeah.
it's part of what I do too. I mean, being a content creation channel, I like to
Right.
bring on creators
Hmm.
to, my point of bringing creators on is to help not only promote them, but also to help other people, pick up some different ideas from different niches and see what's working
Yeah.
for everybody. Because there's things that you do that I definitely don't do just because we're different, different
Right.
niches and we're different creators. So I like to have different, let people get different ideas of what's working. So,
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
and
And
I'm with, go ahead, Todd. Sorry.
I have a rule of thumb: when December hits, I don't promote people's stuff anymore, because I found out it's just better if I go into the topic of Christmas itself. And it's like, time for my promotion's done.
Yep.
It's time to, start talking about Christmas, the meaning of Christmas, you know, things centered around the family and that kind of stuff. So I do have that rule. It wasn't anything that I learned or was taught. It just was kind of the way I wanted to do it, you know. And last year a guy contacted me on the 13th of December wanting to promote his book, and it's like, dude, it's a week before Christmas. I'm done. It's it's you know, I had all my episodes recorded and scheduled for release, and it's like I have to have Christmas with my family. A 45-minute talk with you is 2.5 hours work for me, which is,
Right.
and that's like, well, call me back next year. We'll promote it next year, so
Well, I think that's good strategy too, because
yeah,
Christmas is kind of game time especially for your channel, your
yeah.
niche. So that's a perfect time for, I'm kind of with Never Call Me Again. And sir, if you can tell me your first name again, him and I just met a few days ago. I'm sorry, I don't remember your first name. If you don't mind to remind me, but he says didn't know Puritans outlawed Christmas. I had no clue about that either. That'd be a great video to watch.
Oh yeah, they did. In Massachusetts, Christmas was outlawed until like 1880 something, if memory serves me correct. Because it was at the time it was just a big. They considered it a big drunken party, is what they considered it, and so it was outlawed and until just over 100 years ago. So, but best memory serves me. I don't have the dates memorized, but
Right.
around then. But yeah, a lot of people don't know. You're like, Christmas was outlawed, by a religious group. What? You know?
I had no idea.
Yeah.
No clue
So
whatsoever.
honestly, I guess with the Puritans, it's the battle between Thanksgiving and Christmas. I don't, I don't know. So,
Yeah. Let's see. He said that's partly why they. So John says that's partly why they left Europe to escape paganism.
yeah,
That'd be
yeah.
something cool to dig
Christmas
into.
was, yeah, yeah. Christmas was really wild in modern day England with the people going wassailing. That's basically trick or treating for alcohol. And but
Gotcha.
there's a lot of interesting stories, and then traditions from, especially in Europe, traditions from country to country to country are so varied. You have you know Italy has a witch that comes around at Christmas to do things, and then you have the Dutch had Sinterklaas, which is a basic Santa Claus, but then there's Belsnickel, and then of course Krampus is widely popular now than what it used to be. So all kinds of interesting Christmas traditions. There's a podcast called Weird Christmas, which is kind of great, especially if you're into the more ghost stories of Christmas kind of thing, or the things that are really off. But there's a I can't remember the name of the book, but there's a book that's like, how did tripping on mushrooms influence Christmas mythology, and he makes this case and about it, and I don't know if it's true, but he makes an interesting case, and so
Weird Christmas. I'm gonna check that out.
yeah, yeah. A friend of mine, Craig, he goes by Craig Kringle, does it. It's a great podcast. He does these short stories. People write these like, um, kind of like Twilight Zone style short stories, 500 words or less, and does this thing. And some of them are really cool and creepy. And if you're into that kind of thing, it's really cool. So,
I'm just into history in general.
uh,
So anything that's history related, I really love. So, um,
yeah,
it's giving me some cool stuff to look into.
yeah, yeah. But
So
there's so much into Christmas, and the thing is when I started, there were uh, there were two thoughts. It was like the seasonal, it's Christmas time. I have podcast episodes up, and then there were a few doing year round, and I decided to go the year round route because I didn't want to, take a long break, and because I kind of knew in myself, if I would like stop for an extended period of time, then me getting started again would be a struggle, and so I did that, and then I've learned when it's not like peak Christmas season, then I really dive into the weeds of Christmas things, because the people listening, watching then are the ones that are really into Christmas, and kind of, want to that little bit deeper study of the history or a tradition or a topic. And then as we get closer to the holidays, I kind of go more general audience kind of stuff, and talk about the stuff that everybody can relate to and hear, and trying to drop nuggets of different things, like the Puritans and stuff, to maybe hook people to stick around and try to learn what we're talking about, or things. But it is an interesting trick.
it's awesome. You literally have enough stuff for content all year long. So even something like Christmas doesn't have to be just seasonal. You have
Right.
a channel around all that.
Yeah. You could. I mean, you could do, my friend does Christmas past. It's all history stuff. He doesn't touch on anything new or anything really, after 1980. And he does it seasonally, but he does, you know, 30 or 40 episodes in a year still. He just releases that many, and and you just keep digging and finding, and there's just a lot there. There's a big early 1900s. There's a big scam in New York City based around Christmas and people giving money to a charity. It was like a Ponzi scheme thing, and so you can touch on that and learn about that kind of thing, and then we haven't even talked about the music. We talked about the history, but then the history. There's a lot of history with the music, and then the music in general, and then the movies and the TV is a whole nother topic. So you could just go and go and go and go and never leave, Christmas.
So guys, if you are into all of this, make sure you go subscribe to Todd's channel because he's got a lot of Christmas stuff to talk about.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll be hitting it, every week all year long, so it's like, I've been telling people, I was like, if you need a little Christmas, you know where to find me. And we'll be there with a little bit of Christmas happiness for everybody. So
Looking forward to it. And I know my wife, she loves, I'm sure that I know she's subscribed to your channel. I'm
yeah,
sure she's going to start digging in. And if you guys
yeah,
see me muting the mic and looking crazy, I haven't felt good today. I think it's just allergies, but
yeah,
I'm feeling rough. But you know what? It's Monday night. There was no way the stream wasn't going to happen. So we're here having a great time. But if I have to mute the mic or take a drink, I do apologize. Never Call Me Again Live says, please remember to like and share the stream. Absolutely. If you guys don't
yeah,
mind hitting that thumbs up, I appreciate that 100%. Thanks for being here and hanging out with us. If you want to share on Instagram or anywhere, whatever social media platform that we're live, would greatly appreciate that. To everybody that's come in the last few minutes, I saw Ash, I saw Scott. Who else? I don't want to miss anybody. Kyle, what's up, man? Nick Z, I don't think I said hello to you. Hello. If I missed Michael P, how you doing, man? If I missed anybody, I promise it's not on purpose. All right, so let's do this. So I've already had one
okay,
comment that I've got saved here.
okay,
So if you could go, and you talked about 1999 moving out, and you and I must be
uh-huh,
about the same age because that's when I joined the Army also. Um,
okay. Yeah,
so,
I'm
my first
44.
Christmas, okay,
Yeah, yep.
40. So I moved out when I was 17.
Okay,
Joined the Army, so I had Christmas in the barracks and stuff like that. It was cool. I mean, I was hanging out with a bunch of friends,
hmm
but so what is your if you had to go back, and I'm sure this is going to be tough, but what is one Christmas memory that you have that I'm sure it's hard, but if you can pick one, like your favorite Christmas memory, and guys in the chat, same thing. If you guys want to throw out your favorite Christmas memory, your favorite part about Christmas, throw it out there. We'll go through these.
yeah. Well, actually, that's a fairly easy one for me because when I first started the podcast, I had this segment where I would share like a Christmas memory every episode. Now, when the podcast started, it was just once a month. But I learned pretty quickly that I only had so many Christmases under my belt that I could remember, So I kind of had to table that for every so often. But there was one memory I shared, and I didn't realize it until um, I shared it with everybody and was thinking about it. And I talked to my mom and dad about it because I was little and I wanted to make sure hey, Santa Dad, that's my buddy Randy. So,
Hey, appreciate you being
yeah,
here, Randy. Thank you.
yeah. So, so I realized that it was like my very first memory of Christmas. And I had to be, best we could tell, I had to be like 4 years old or so. And what it was um, my grandma, my dad's mom dressed up as Santa and came to our house on Christmas Eve and handed me and my sister just like a little toy. I think I got like a little Hot Wheel or something and set on her lap. And she was like, oh, of course we thought Santa Claus, hook, line, and sinker. And she's like, well, I'll be back with the rest of your presents later. But I just remember that just being so, you know, awestruck by it. And just to think that, my grandpa like parked down the street and she had to walk, to the house because they didn't want us to see the truck or anything like that. And it was so cool because it was like that's my very first memory of Christmas is my family like going way out of their way to do something to make it special. And talking with my dad about that, my grandma had did that for him and his brothers and his sister when they were kids, and she like snuck across the street to the neighbor's house and changed and came, and they didn't even realize it was her own their own mom. But she went out of her way to make it special, and that's just one of my favorite memories because it's like it's just kind of set the tone. It's like, okay, it's Christmas. Santa Dad, who was just up here, he does a blog and stuff, and is on Instagram. And his little hook, his little line is "Make special happen," and uh, and that's just what my grandma and my grandpa did. My parents did for me. They just made special happen on Christmas, and that was just that's my favorite memory. It's my first memory of Christmas, but I think it just set the whole tone for my future and Christmas and things that my first memory isn't, getting Castle Grayskull or anything. It's someone going out of their way to do something special, you know, like it should be.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome. I mean, mine's gonna be as an adult,
Yeah.
because I've kind of talked about on different streams my childhood. Um, Christmas for me wasn't really growing up wasn't really much of anything, but as an adult, it's always fun to just see the kids on Christmas morning
Right.
and how much fun. I mean, really throughout the Christmas season. My wife kind of mentioned back in the chat a little bit that, and you were talking about traditions. So Saint Nick, which I think is a German tradition, if I'm not mistaken.
Mhm.
So Saint Nicholas comes here, um, and that's always cool. So, but just the whole season, the kids love Christmas, and they get
Yeah.
it honestly from their mom for sure.
Yeah, there's something about kids at Christmas, it's just even, as an adult before I had kids, it's like I could feel like a little bit of the magic of Christmas disappearing, and then as soon as kids started entering, the equation, it was like bang all over again. The magic re-entered the room, and people might think it's cliche to say that, but it's absolutely true. If you guys are out there and you don't have kids around Christmas yet, just wait because it is something to behold. It is way different. It's more fun than when you were a kid, believe it or not. So
And then it never goes away, right? Because I mean,
yeah,
neither one of us know this personally yet, but
yeah,
eventually you have grandkids, and Christmas
right.
never goes away. You do get to do it all over again. So
Oh my goodness, those late Christmas Eve nights, doing things and getting things wrapped and put together and ready and stuff. Those are the best. Those are absolutely the best. And one thing I do Christmas Eve night too, and I got this from a friend of mine, Ken Smith, who has a podcast, Faces to Places. Uh, he at midnight on, I guess, Christmas morning between Christmas Eve and New Year's goes outside, no matter what the weather is, and just looks up at the sky. And I did that last year for the first time. It's like I'm doing this every transition between Christmas Eve and Christmas. It was just so calm and peaceful out there, and just looking up at the stars. And it's like, yeah, we're gonna do our Santa Claus thing, and then I'm going outside for just a moment to look up at the stars and to reflect. And it was just so great.
that's awesome. Yeah. I mean, we do the whole. I can't say we've ever gone out and looked up at the sky. I can see where that would be, pretty cool. I know the kids, they like to put out like the reindeer food, and they'll stand
Yeah,
outside and, um, you know, look for Santa, and we do the whole, looking at the internet to see where Santa's at and stuff like that.
yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. Santa Dad shared that story on a video a while back, and his mom went out of her way to get him this pin, and he ended up being a writer. He's a sports writer for a living. So,
oh,
um,
Santa Dad is.
yeah, he is, and
That's awesome.
he, yeah. So that pin really shaped his future. He's a fantastic guy, a good writer too. He's got a pretty good presence on Instagram, and I don't mind plugging his stuff. If you need a little more Christmas on Instagram, go follow him at Santa Dad. It's pretty easy. So, but
Yeah, no, not only that, he's a sports writer. Where does he? I'm a huge sports guy too. So where does he write for sports at?
I think I think correct me if I'm wrong, Santa Dad. I think it's CNN Sports Illustrated is who he writes for down in Georgia.
Oh,
So
nice.
he covers the Georgia Bulldogs, I believe.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome. So yeah, so there's his Christmas memory.
And he's
My
a
wife
Raiders
says,
fan, so
"Hey, that's okay.
yeah.
That's all right." I know a couple of Raiders fans.
Yeah. Yeah.
So my wife says every Christmas with Ken and our kids is my favorite. Well, thank you, babe. I appreciate that. But spending Christmas with my grandpa before he passed away was one of the hardest but most memorable.
Yeah. Yeah, that's that's the other thing is you think about loved ones. I remember my grandpa who parked down the street from my grandma, his last Christmas he was at the veterans home and we went with him and got some real nice pictures in front of the big tree they had there and little did we know at that time that would be his last Christmas and so I took that and thanks to places like uh, Shutterfly and that kind of thing and was able to take that picture and make it into an ornament and stuff and that but it's like you know that's the thing about Christmas is a lot of people are like you know they don't like the materialistic principles of Christmas, and I don't blame them. I mean, I love giving stuff and getting stuff, and that's fine. But you know, here, most people, it's just that time with family that just sticks around more than anything. I don't even remember anything I got last year for Christmas, but I have memories of spending time with family and stuff, and that's a lot of we don't focus on gifts too much here at Christmas Clatter. I will every once in a while I'll be like, hey, you guys might want to check this out. This might be a good idea, kind of thing. But it's not just all. I know some YouTube channels. It's kind of like a shopping list of Amazon affiliate links, and that's
Right.
fine, I guess. But I just don't want to be like that. It's just not in my nature. I'm not a salesman at heart, anyway. So
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, not only that, but I mean, family for us also. But even before gifts for me is food, family and food,
yeah, yeah.
and gifts would be after that stuff.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
yeah. You gotta have the food. Are you guys a turkey or a ham family at Christmas,
so
or
we
or
are
prime rib?
for Christmas definitely ham. That's more.
Mhm.
My wife will tell you I'm a really traditional guy.
Uh-huh.
So for me, ham and Christmas is traditional.
Mhm.
But we just like ham. We're doing a ham for Thanksgiving. We're doing a ham and a turkey, but
Yeah,
for Thanksgiving also.
yeah. We're
Yeah. What
ham
about
and
you?
we're ham and turkey at both.
Both?
So yeah, yeah, and but we'll probably focus on the ham a little bit more at Christmas. But I know a lot of people do prime rib. That's actually more traditional than ham or turkey. But it's a good idea too. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. We're gonna now. Do you deep fry turkey?
Yeah, actually, we'll have like 3 different kinds of turkey. We'll have like the oven baked, and we'll have a smoked, and then we'll have a deep fried. So we have a lot of people, and we all like to eat a lot. So
Oh, same here. We're doing a so the guy that you saw in the chat, Gary Lewis. He actually
uh-huh,
he's a beard company owner in Maryland. He owns Chesapeake Beard and Grooming.
uh-huh.
Him and his family are coming here to Kentucky for Thanksgiving, so they're going to hang out here for a couple days.
Oh, nice.
We're going to deep fry turkey and make a ham. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's good.
So Nick H says, well, first of all, so Zeb says snow on Christmas makes Christmas 10 times better. I agree. The problem is where I live, we very
Mm,
rarely get a white Christmas.
yeah, me as well. I live in Southeast Missouri, and if we had a white Christmas, it was like barely enough to cover the ground, but it doesn't happen often. And
Yeah.
but I would love to one of these years. I keep saying one of these years I'm gonna go like to Montana or someplace where I'm like guaranteed to have one, but then it's like I don't want to be away from home for Christmas either, So,
Yep.
but, but
And my wife, so she's from Wisconsin, so she's
uh-huh.
definitely seen more white Christmases than I have.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah,
she's been waiting for a good one since she moved to Kentucky. We haven't had one.
yeah. She'd probably keep waiting. Yeah, my wife is from Southern California, so she never got one. So I think they had Christmas snow around Christmas one time, but they were all out they got pictures. They were all out in shorts and t-shirts, like sledding through what little they had because it was warming up so fast. But
Right.
yeah,
Ellie says staying up watching movies on Christmas Eve till midnight every year. After midnight, all the presents come out except for the Santa gifts. In the morning, we'd get our Santa stuff. Still do that. Yeah, we
yeah,
do. We do Christmas movies, and then every year, Christmas Eve, I read the night before Christmas.
yeah,
And last year, my daughter wanted to read the book, and I was like, "No, that's the dad thing. I do that."
yeah, yeah. I understand that. We do. we do something similar. We kind of do it all at once, you but when I was growing up, we would have Christmas Eve. Me and my sister and my mom and dad would exchange gifts from each other to each other, and then Santa would come and with my family situation and stuff. Now it's kind of we kind of do it all at once. We'll exchange, but then we'll pull the Santa stuff out because we all do. We don't do uh, have the ability to have two different times.
Right.
To do Christmas things. But um, my mom and dad bought this Hallmark book in 1974 when my sister was born. It's a little pop up book, and it's like the story of the Nativity. And it's the things is beat and tattered, but it gets read every year before we do anything, and so that's always nice. And I need to, you know, I need to find a copy because it's the copy they have is really wearing out pretty bad. So
Yeah, I mean the wearing out of books like that, that's kind of like a memory thing. But yeah, I
yeah,
guess eventually it gets too worn out. You can't even flip pages.
yeah, that's what I told her. I said, "Well, we'll get another copy, and then we can put this one like in a box or something just to keep. We'll keep it. We're not going to get rid of it no matter what. But we need something else to read.
Yeah.
But
So Ray, Smelly Turtle, his name is Ray. He says some people disagree, but my favorite memory from Christmas was cleaning out a Humvee after a rough night. I I hear and understand what you're saying, man. 100%. And on that note, hey, Veterans Day is coming up on Thursday, so any veterans
yeah,
in the stream right now, thank you very much for your service. Happy
yes,
Veterans
thank
Day.
you,
Appreciate
thank
all
you.
of you.
Yes, I couldn't say that. Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, so Senator says, yeah, CNN Sports Lifer, Dogs, Raiders, and I cheer for the Packers too. There we go.
Yeah,
Go, Pack, go!
I like it. That gets you an automatic go pack go, sir.
yeah. So yeah, Randy's a great guy. He's a lot of fun. I remember interviewing him. I'm like, did we just become best friends?
Right. Right. Let's see if there's any other Christmas memories. Yeah. Lots of memories of holidays overseas in the barracks. Yeah,
Yeah.
so me and my wife, we met in Germany in the Army, but we never spent a Christmas together in Germany.
Oh
So,
wow, that's one of my like Christmas bucket list things is to do Christmas in Germany. I have a cousin that went over there a few times, to the Christmas markets and stuff, and it just looks so fantastic and magical. I need to get over there.
yeah, I've
Hopefully,
been
when
to Christmas markets in Germany. So, have you ever heard? You may have you ever heard of Glühwein?
I have heard of it, but that's about all. I just kind of looking through them and studying them, you know,
Yeah, I wasn't a fan.
mispronouncing them in my head. Oh, really?
I wasn't. It's basically boiled wine. I was not a fan. So Santa Dad, he says, "Wait, family and food. Are you sure you're not a Southern man?" I am actually. I live in Kentucky. I grew up in Kentucky my entire life. My
Yeah,
wife is from Wisconsin, and we have plans to move up there in a couple of years. But I'm definitely a Southern guy.
yeah.
All right. Okay, and he caught that. I guess I said that somewhere else. Yep. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Gotta love those bearded Southern guys.
Right. All right. I want to make sure I'm not missing any Christmas memories, but we are. What's up, Jay Cruz? Good to see you, man. We are 40 minutes in and 2 questions down,
Yeah,
so I love these conversations.
yeah. Hey Jay, I met Jay Cruz the other day on the new members chat for Just Create More. So,
Oh yeah, yeah. He had
yeah,
joined that day. Yeah.
yeah, that was cool. He's a good guy.
What's up, Dave? Yep. And Mel says, yeah, I love the Mark plots during Christmas time in Hanau. Yeah, for sure. We
Yeah,
just never got to do it together. We didn't know each other at the right time.
yeah. Yeah, a friend of mine was stationed in Germany and with the army, and he really enjoyed it, but he ended up getting struck by lightning, stretching out some Constantine wire and stuff. So
Ouch. I don't know what would be better, getting struck or worse, I guess, getting struck by lightning or getting cut by the wire. Probably both happened.
yeah, so
All right. So, Todd, we talked a little bit about this before, when we were just backstage before, but
uh
we were talking about YouTube seasons and Christmas being a season. How does Christmas season affect your channel? Do you notice a difference in, and I guess your podcast and everything else you're doing, do you notice a difference in in audience and viewership during what I guess we would consider the Christmas off season?
Uh, yeah, definitely. So I'm not quite sure how YouTube's going to handle it. This is my first year on Christmas on YouTube. I just expanded Christmas Clatter from the podcast to have a partner with, I guess like a partnership or sister YouTube channel where I have a video version of the podcast. Plus, then I do more traditional YouTube things like, reaction videos or unboxings or, live streams and stuff. And so I'm not quite sure how YouTube's going to handle it once, the 26th of December hits and most people are done. But I'm not too worried about it. But as far as my experience with the podcast, the way it kind of starts is, you have a little bit of an audience, and then Christmas comes around, and then there's a good bump, in your listeners, and then Christmas is over, and your listeners, your numbers fall to a floor, but it's higher than what it was before Christmas. And then the next Christmas rolls around, and you get another bump, which is bigger than the one you had before. And then once the season's over, they hit a floor again, but it's higher than what the floor was the year before. So it's this kind of like stair step thing.
Right.
And so I'm expecting YouTube to be kind of like the same thing, to where, there's going to be high interest. So we're going to get a lot of, views and comments and things like that. And then once it's over, it's going to kind of, not forget, but there's just going to be a core audience there. And then, so it's like each Christmas is a chance to like grow your core audience. It's like you need to do everything you can at the Christmas season to, get people, to reach the people that want to be, engaged with Christmas year round when you can. And, but the real funny thing about it, especially with the podcast, and I'm just not quite sure about YouTube yet, but I have a better understanding here in a few months about it. But, you know, a traditional podcast about like sports or tech or anything else, they release an episode February, March, April. By November, it's kind of dead, except for, a few people that are going back to listen or just discovering it. But with the Christmas podcast, a lot of people save those episodes for the holiday season. And so, an episode I had, like I said, February, March, April, the listenership might go up as much as 4 or 5 times in November, just because people are saving all your episodes from the whole year to watch or to listen to at Christmas time during the season. Um, that's one of the reasons I wanted to do uh, year round is so, I would have a back catalog for, people to listen to and things. And I kind of got that because there was one podcast that was doing, and they still do weekly episodes of Tis the Podcast. They do weekly episodes, and they told me the same kind of thing. And they're like, people just will, binge listen at the holidays, and it's nice to have a bunch for them to binge listen to, as and so that's what I started doing, and I'm expecting YouTube to be kind of the same thing. I know everybody talks about the algorithm and stuff, and to be honest with those creating content, I might get destroyed by this, YouTube algorithm thing after, January, but, you know, I think about it, but I had to settle it myself that I don't care. I love making Christmas content, and I'm gonna make the videos I wanna make and figure it out from there, because that's all you can do is, you know
I'm gonna give you one of those.
all right, well, I appreciate that.
Yes.
You know, um, and people will find it and they'll stick around or they won't, but, if I'm not, if I'm chasing the algorithm, then I'm not doing anything, and no matter what content or what, you know, niche you're in, there just comes a point that it's like, you know, the algorithm, just make the videos and that you want. And I told a guy, I signed up for vidIQ here a few months back, and and part of the reason I did is because when you did at the time, you get like this free coaching thing for an hour one on one. I was like, that sounds cool, and so I did. And the guy I got on the phone with, he's like, so, what's your goal for YouTube? And I was like, just want to make the best content I can. I said, I know I'm Christmas. My subscribers might have a ceiling of like, I don't know, 5,000. I just pulled a number out top of my head. I was like, I don't know. There's a Christmas YouTube channel that's like at 17,000 subscribers, and they're a little bit different than me as far as what they're doing. So I figured that was the most I could find. And so I thought, well, if I could get to 5,000, that'd be great. I told him, I said, that might be my ceiling of subscribers. I don't know. I hope not, but I don't know. And if it is, I'm fine. But my thing is, I wanted to produce a channel that is the quality of a 500,000 subscriber channel, even if it's just for those 5,000 subscribers. You know,
Right.
I have this, I don't know if it's a problem, but this thing in me that I can't put anything out there that I'm not happy with the way it looks, the way it sounds, what it's about, you know, and I just want, um, to do the best I can at it and to be something that you know, people can turn to, at Christmas time, and in, it'll have more lasting power, the more I can put into it. And so that's just kind of my philosophy for the, basically the Christmas off season. And the Christmas off season really isn't terribly long. Because once, Christmas is over, you go through New Year's, and then in mid-April, Hallmark releases the catalog of their Christmas ornaments for the for the year. So you have that to, talk about and to discuss, and then June 25th is Leon Day, halfway to Christmas. That's when, people that craft get all their Christmas things. And then early July, Hallmark ornaments are available to buy. QVC does Christmas in July. Hallmark starts running Christmas movies in July, and then it's kind of cools down for August, and then after Labor Day, it's kind of off to the races, because you need to start booking, your guests, and you need to start booking, people that have things coming out, uh, and then you're, eyeball deep into it again. So the season isn't quite as short as it may seem on the outside. You have January, February, March. There's kind of a lull, but I've learned through the podcast I won't do a lot in January, or I won't do a lot between Christmas and Valentine's Day, because I need that time to recharge and rest. Um, Not saying I won't put out anything, but it won't be quite at the pace, and that's a good time for me to get a lot of like the administrative stuff done. To kind of get the website polished up and ready for a new year, and that kind of stuff, and gives me a great chance to do that stuff without feeling the pressure of, putting out something new or new content. So this year, what I'm planning on doing is maybe not do videos, but maybe doing like a every other week live stream kind of thing, where we just get together and see how everybody's doing. See what, how their Christmas went, see, something they want to improve on, kind of thing. And, for Christmas, because I always tell people time to start planning for next Christmas is the 26th of December. And,
Right.
And that way you don't stress out over the holidays.
Yeah, I love what you said in there about doing the content, and that you won't put out content that you're not happy with,
Right.
and not chasing the algorithm and stuff like that. Now, I will say, I don't know that I'm ever fully, and I'm sure you probably agree with this. I don't know that I'm ever fully happy with content that I put out,
No.
and I have to be careful with that, because there's the whole thing of chasing perfection. You're never going to make a
Yeah.
perfect video, and if you try, you're never going to put a video out. That's something that I have to be careful with, because if not, I'll just overthink it and, get frustrated and not record, and you know how that
Yeah.
cycle starts. So, but I love what you said about that, about not chasing the algorithm, not stressing over it. At the end of the day, if you make content that your audience wants and it's solving something for them, even if it's entertainment,
Mm-hmm.
if it's, in your audience cases, interesting stuff like history of Christmas or the Puritan conversation or something like that, they're going to watch your content.
Yeah.
And that drives the algorithm. If they're watching, the algorithm's going to work for you. So, love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. it is. I'm that way too. I'll watch a video or listen to the podcast, and I'll see like a misspeak or a little jitter here or there, or be like the white's off on this one, and then I'll be like, oh, it's. I'm that way too. It just comes to the point. It's like this is really good, and you know up until a few weeks ago, all my videos were done on my main camera was an iPad. You know, I started off on this cheap Logitech webcam. I mean, like $25 webcam, and
Right.
it looked fine, but man, it did not handle motion very well at all, and it was just too jittery. And so then I bought off Facebook this used iPhone 10R and used that for quite a while, and as my camera, and it was fine. And then I got a M1 iPad Pro and used that camera until just a few weeks ago, and I said, "Well, I was gonna wait till after the first year because I didn't wanna change in the middle of the season," but I went ahead and jumped on and got that new Sony, ZV-E10 because I was starting to do, like, some ornaments and stuff, and I was wanting to hold it in front of the camera, and camera wouldn't focus on it, so it's like, well, I need to probably go ahead and step up on that,
Well, your video and your audio are both great. I know you have not been live streaming long. I mean, I don't know exactly how long, but like a couple of
yeah.
months now, right?
I've only got 2 under my belt right as of now, and my first one was, like, late September. The problem with that is that I've had recordings scheduled for when I wanna live stream, which is usually Wednesday nights, and so I haven't been able to do it consistently because of, previously, you know, planned recording schedules with different people, so but yeah, I enjoy it.
Yeah, so there's a couple of questions here, and YouTube doesn't like the word, but how did that affect your, I guess we'll say your podcast because you kind of just started the channel, but did
Yeah,
how was last year for you?
yeah, I mean, I was off to the races. My numbers last year were pretty solid, uh, more so, but I've seen consistent growth year after year. This May will be 3 years of the podcast, so in the short time I've been doing it, I've seen pretty good growth. To where I'm at. As far as I don't know how much you guys like to talk numbers here, but I'm approaching since May of 2019. I'm approaching 120,000 downloads just at the podcast. I'm at
Nice.
64 episodes, I think, total. Maybe a couple bonus episodes, let's say 70. So, I've seen some pretty nice growth as far as podcasts go,
That's
and I've
awesome.
been real happy with it. And I'm just trying to get it to transition over to um, YouTube. I've had pretty good luck on Facebook. It's not my favorite social media platform. I wish I was more popular on Instagram other than Facebook, but for some reason, people on Facebook have taken to it. So, I kinda cater to them, so
I'm with you. Facebook's not my favorite either.
yeah, yeah,
Um, we do have a couple of questions. We have one more question from Jeff. But first, Mel says, Todd, love that you're spreading holiday cheer all year long. While Christmas can be hard for some, studies show it helps people feel closer to their loved ones, brings back nostalgic
yeah,
memories, etc.
yeah. I have a saying, I use quite a bit. I say that Christmas makes the happy times happier and the sad times sadder, and that's one thing we've tackled here, on Christmas Clatter too is, the Christmas blues and people that, battle depression this time of year. Seasonal affective disorder is a real thing for, when it's getting dark quicker, like, we just had the time change. That's, it's a real thing. People struggle at Christmas, and I've had different guests on to talk about that, and, what to do, if you see somebody in that situation, how to actually be a help. And then if you feel yourself in that situation, how to ask for help, and what to do. And because like I said, there's just so much about Christmas to cover, and I didn't want to just make Christmas all happy, happy, joy, joy. When there's people that really struggle with it for various reasons, and
Yeah.
they they want to enjoy Christmas too, and they just might need an extra hand. I did the Christmas with Cancer thing, fundraising for them, and that was a lot of fun, and went really well for my first like fundraiser kind of thing. And so it's like even those harder topics, I want those to be on the table too. I just don't want it, candy canes and lollipops all the time.
Right. And on that note, I've said this a few times on, other people's chats and on stream with others, but, and I'm serious when I say this, sometimes it's just as, I don't know what the word is. Sometimes it's as easy as just reaching out to somebody you trust. So if there's anybody that catches this stream, if you're in here now, if you're watching this after, if you need somebody to talk to, I'm always here.
Yeah.
Send me a message on IG, on Facebook, my email,
Yeah.
whatever you need to do, and I will talk to you. I may not have the answers, but I will definitely listen and do my best.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the same way. I'm available if anybody wants to talk. I don't have the answers, but I got some ears, and I can listen and, maybe help point you in the right direction. And I tell people all the time, it's like most of us, I'd say 99% of us will make way too much food for Christmas. So step outside your door and look at all the houses you can see with your eyes and just make sure that there's nobody by themselves.
Right.
And if everybody did that, then everybody would have, a Merry Christmas. And it's not that hard,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Um,
Because,
go ahead, Todd. Sorry, man.
well, that's all right. I end every podcast episode or, video podcast on YouTube with, keep Christmas hope alive every day. And, that's one of the things I want to do is just that, like we talked about before, just that hope of that Christmas brings. I just want to make sure that, we're reminded of that year round, so we can be our best Christmas selves, even in the middle of summer.
Absolutely. So Jeff says, since Todd is a Christmas content creator, he wants to ask about Vlogmas. Your thoughts, do you do it? Same question for me. I've never done it. I've seen people talk about it. It's kind of new to me. It sounds like something I would like to do, but I haven't done it. What about you, Todd?
I actually, being my first Christmas on YouTube, I hadn't heard of Vlogmas until I already had, I guess, a Vlogmas planned. So I guess technically I'll be doing it. I have bought a Christmas Story Advent calendar full of 24 minifigs from Christmas Story. And I will be unpacking one every day from the 1st to the 24th of December. And we'll put the little, it won't be a long video, I'm sure, a little short video every day on YouTube of me pulling out that day's Christmas Story minifigure. So that's what I'll be doing for, I guess, Vlogmas. I don't know if it's the right time frame for official Vlogmas or not, but I had that planned anyway. Then I heard about Vlogmas and I thought, well, I'm kind of doing that or plan on doing that as it is. So
Sounds like it was meant to be.
yeah.
All right, we have a beard question. Now, I happen to know the answer to this, at least one answer. Does Todd use any beard products? Nice beard? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, how can we not talk about the beard? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I got in touch a week or so ago with live on Instagram. Was it Weather Bearded? The name
Yep.
of it.
Weatherbeard,
And got some their Orchard Valley beard butter and oil, and been using that for a week or so, and just absolutely love it. And I've tried different things you buy at the store, and it's been fine, but it hasn't been like that. And I really, really like it, and I'm going to get some more of it. So
Yeah. Weatherbeard does some good stuff. I've got a couple of streams playing with him in the future. He's a company that I've worked with for a year and a half.
Yeah.
Since him and I met, Corey's been to my house. We have met up in town several times. Really great company. There's several. But Orchard Valley's a good one. I love that one.
Yeah. I'm a sucker for the seasonal type of scents, the pumpkins and the apples and stuff. But I guess that's probably a given. But
well, I'll tell you. So speaking of Weatherbeard, there's going to be a stream coming up pretty soon for his holiday scents. So I will keep you informed about that.
I will get my debit card ready.
John said he's popular on MySpace.
Yeah.
I used to be. Is MySpace even still a thing? I haven't tried to look that up in forever.
I don't know. I think it still is, but I think it's wildly different than what it used to be.
Vato, I'm not sure if this was for me or somebody else, but yeah, absolutely, man. You text me anytime, brother. Yeah, but he doesn't have IG or social media. You got my phone number though. You text me anytime, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, John said he loves how sincere Todd is. I agree, man, and I see that come out in your content, in your interviews, in your live streams. Just sitting chatting with you, man. Everything about you just screams sincerity. I see exactly what John's talking about.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that. I tell people when I get ready to talk to them on Christmas Clatter, a lot of them never done a podcast or video or anything before, and I just tell them, I said it's like having a conversation with your favorite cousin at Christmas. It's just you might start on one topic, but we will divert from Christmas at times and maybe go a little pop culture. But I'll get us back and on track if I feel like it needs to. But I've always I started Christmas Clatter as a solo podcast, and it was fine, but I got tired of listening to myself, and I just like talking with people more. And I remember my wife when we were dating, we'd like go to the store and be, lady would be checking us out at whether groceries or whatever we had. And I'd be talking to her and we'd be walking away and she's like, "Who was that?" And I'm like, "I don't know." She's like, "Well, you talked to her like you knew her forever." I'm like, "Well, it's just how I am. It's just people just seem to want to talk, and I enjoy talking with them and listening to their stories, and it's just kind of. I guess it's the mailman in me. I get to do it every day as a mailman, and get to see people at their house every
Yeah.
day, and so
We're
it's
going
a
to
lot
talk
of
about
fun.
one of those in a second. A fantastic stream video you had recently. Um,
Uh,
so Russ says, Todd, any good chance your mom would live stream with you?
there's a possibility. My family has a tradition called Cookie Day, and if you haven't been in Christmas Clatter, it's not a very fancy name, but it started off my first Christmas after college, 95. I was home and mom was making holiday cookies and, Christmas cookies. And of course, I was in the kitchen eating them as they were coming out of the oven, as you're supposed to do. And my sister was home and she called our youth pastor at the time and said, "Hey, mom's making some Christmas cookies. Do you want us to bring some?" And he goes, "Your mom's making cookies. I'll be right there." And he showed up. So we just sat around and ate cookies for the afternoon and had a great time with each other and visiting. And we're like, we got to do this next year. So we did. And there was a few more people. Well, this year is the 26th year of Cookie Day. And like I said, my mom puts up 25 trees and decks, the house is completely decorated. And she hosts an open house. She'll have about 200 people come through. She makes anywhere from 23 to 25 different cookies, about 5,000 individual cookies. And it's just a place for everybody to show up, enjoy the decorations, grab a great cookie, a cup of coffee, cider, hot chocolate, and just visit and slow down for a little bit, you know. And so there will probably be some live streaming at Cookie Day, if not just before or after, uh, with my mom. And so look for that. Cookie Day this year is on December the 10th. We always plan it out a year ahead of time, and so it's always a lot of fun, and people always enjoy the time to kind of reset and get back to making that connection that people always enjoy so much around the holidays.
So I'm gonna pull something up before we talk about this next thing because I'm
Okay.
not gonna play this, but I don't think that I can talk about this without actually showing it because I think this is so cool.
Okay.
So let me pull your channel up real fast uh, while I'm doing this. So what you already know what I'm pulling up. I think you know what I'm referring to. Um, one of my favorite Christmas movies, and I knew this about you because in your first live stream that I ever popped in, you were doing a stream about. You had it titled, I think, "Creepy Christmas Musics"
Yep.
or movies or something like
Movies.
that.
Yep. Uh-huh.
And so we were talking in the chat a little bit, and I happened to say, my favorite Christmas movie is "It's a Wonderful Life,"
Yeah.
and that absolutely, I love that movie, I always have. Um, and so I want to pull this up. So you had an opportunity recently, which I think is really cool. To Let me pause this. You had an opportunity to interview somebody that was really, really close to that show. Really had probably one of the most iconic Christmas lines in any Christmas movie ever.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
so you guys in the chat, I'm going to let him say it because I thought this was awesome. So how did that turn out? And let everybody know what that was.
Well, I don't know if you've ever heard of the line, "Look, Daddy, teacher says every time a bell rings, an angel gets its wings." That was said by a character, Zuzu Bailey, George Bailey's daughter, in "It's a Wonderful Life," played by the actress Carolyn Grimes, and she was a part of Christmas Clatter a few weeks ago. I was hoping to have her on video, but her computer wasn't working. So through the magic of the RODECaster, I was able to patch my phone into the RODECaster and record her on the phone. And that's a friend of mine there with me, Alonzo Duraldi. He is a film critic for The Wrap, and he's the author of several books, including Have Yourself a Movie Little Christmas and I'll Be Home for Christmas movies. And this year is the 75th anniversary of It's a Wonderful Life. And me and him, I had already contacted him about doing an episode on the movie because I know he's a movie critic, so as a career, and so he knows all about movies and Christmas movies especially, and he would be the perfect guest for it. Well, then the opportunity to have Carolyn on came up, and I messaged him and said, "Hold, let's hold off on doing this. Let me see when I can get Carolyn scheduled." And I knew in my heart when it came up, I was going to let her pick the time and date, and if I had to call in sick to work that day, I was going to do it, and to be there. But it worked out where I didn't have to do that. And I told Alonzo, I said, "Hop on with me to talk to her about it." And he's like, "You don't want to do it by yourself?" I'm like, "I was already planning on doing It's a Wonderful Life with you. I'm not gonna ditch you in the cold." Uh, and this is a chance for you to chat with her too. And I'm so glad he did. She was she's 81 now, I think is what she said. She's still sharp as a tack, and she's still doing tours this time of year, as a great ambassador for the movie and things. And it was just so great talking to her. And she had such a good to great Hollywood career going as a kid. She was in, The Bishop's Wife with Cary Grant, another Christmas movie. She was in, Rio Grande with John Wayne and things. And, she was something, she didn't really go into it, but something happened where she was born and raised in Hollywood, and she was orphaned, I guess, for whatever reason, and then relocated to a home in the Kansas City area. And so that was kind of the end of her Hollywood career until, you know, a reporter found her in the 80s after It's a Wonderful Life really became, fixed in Christmas culture, and was like, "Hey, you were the girl in It's a Wonderful Life." And she's like, "Yes." And so he wanted to talk to her, and then one thing led to another. So she's got this great um, ambassadorship of the movie going, and she loves it because she can go to the store. People don't know who she is, but then when she shows up, lets everybody know she's Zuzu Bailey. Then they all want to, give her hugs and just love her and our fans. And it was really really a lot of fun to talk with her and to have that as a part of a Christmas Clatter video and episode. And just
It's
so grateful to her for wanting to be a part.
it's awesome. There were a few things about the interview that struck me, and I watched it. I watched it one whole time, and then I watched it, or I listened to it another half. Basically, I've watched it 1.5 times. There were a few things that really struck me about her and about the whole story. First of all, I'm going to put this in the chat real quick.
Okay.
Because if anybody wants to see this, make it easy for them to see it. Give me 1 second. So we'll put that there. It's a really cool interview. There was a few things that really struck me in this interview. First of all, I think the biggest thing that I was like, "Oh wow, that is so cool." I don't even know if "cool" is the word, but she said during the interview that when she didn't even see the movie until 30 years later.
Right. She didn't see it till the 80s until
Yeah.
after the reporter contacted her because, when A Wonderful Life was released, it won an Oscar for special effects for the snow they used, but it was kind of a bomb. Critics loved it, but it was kind of a box office bomb. And, the reason it got to be so popular was uh, it was such a bomb that the movie studio let the copyright lapse on it. So TV shows could, or TV stations could show it without having to pay anybody any money. And by that time, Jimmy, Stewart was an Oscar winner. Donna Reed was an Oscar winner. They were, household names. So you have a Christmas movie with two well-known Hollywood actors that cost you $0 to put on TV. So they put it on all the time. And the equivalent that we can understand today would be like A Christmas Story, with TBS running it, 24 hours, And
Right.
so she didn't see it until, after she realized what a big deal it had became, because it was kind of a late bloomer, so to speak, as far as movies go. Yeah.
Yeah, and of course, I mean, I wasn't born until, the early 80s, and as far as I know for my entire life, it's been a huge movie. Like I said, it's my favorite Christmas movie. I make sure I watch it
Right.
every year. We have it on DVD.
Yeah.
Not like I need it on DVD because, like you said, it's on 15 channels 18 times
Right.
during Christmas. So, um, but yeah, so being born in the 80s, that's my entire life. It's always been a big movie. And
Right.
that's another thing that kind of shocked me. I didn't know that there was a time where that movie, like, nobody cared. I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
Nobody. Yeah. Nobody cared, about it, and it was always a good movie because they haven't changed anything. It's just, sometimes the marketing doesn't work or it just doesn't hit right. But then once it got in front of people and people were actually able to see it, it really took a hold. And it's got a great message, and it is a great movie. It's one of my favorite. It's my favorite Christmas movies, and it's one of my favorite movies in general.
Yeah.
Um, just because of the message of it, and it's just I just really love it, and I didn't. I enjoy Jimmy Stewart. I always like everything he's in. I've gone back and watched several of his movies, and he's great. I remember watching Nick at Night when I was a kid and watching the Donna Reed show, and I loved that show for whatever reason. I guess I was kind of born an old soul or something, but it's yeah,
I'm with you. I'm
and
with you.
and but yeah, it's a fantastic movie, and it's caught a hold on everybody. And most 75 years old, there's not very many movies that are 75 years old that people still talk about every year, you know, or make a point to see every year.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
it's really an outlier, and it's well deserved. I wish more of the cast, were around to really see what it's become. But
Well, that's another thing that surprised me too is that you guys were talking about the reunion that they do.
mhm.
She said every year, right? They do a reunion each year.
Yeah, yeah. There's a few. I thought at the time that she was the last living cast member, but there were a few more that are still alive. I believe the kid that played George Bailey as a kid, I think he is still alive. Um, her little brother, I think Tom Bailey, maybe Tommy. I think he's still alive. And then there was some little infants that were twins in the movie, and of course they're still with us as well. But I don't know if that might be the last of them, but I don't know 100% sure. So
I think it's cool that there are as many as there are that are still able to make it though. That's
yeah,
cool.
yeah, and there's a big there's a I can't remember the name of the town now in New York that has adopted itself as the original Bedford Falls. I believe it's the city that inspired Frank Capra, and they have a museum there and have a big festival every Christmas and stuff as well, which is something I need to go check out
Yeah, I want to get up
myself.
there also.
Yeah.
So
So
grilling 615, welcome in, sir. There's at least one thing that I know I like about you, and apparently you grill food. We talked
yeah,
about food.
that's Ken. That's my buddy Ken Smith right there. Faces to Places podcast.
Oh, nice.
He tells stories. He hops on his motorcycle, and he's from the Nashville area, and he finds these stories of Americana and puts them out there. And he's got a wonderful voice. His voice is lower and more southern than mine, and he's a super great guy. And in fact, he's got a just took a tour of the Jack Daniels distillery a few days ago. So I'm not sure when that episode will come out, but be on the lookout.
Oh,
Faces to Places.
if you don't
So,
mind finding me on IG just so I know how to find you, I'm
yeah,
gonna check out that stuff because that's all stuff that interests me.
yeah.
I'm sure him
Ken
and I could have
Ken
a.
Yeah, Ken hooked me up. I don't know, year and a half ago. He was wanting to get into the podcasting game, and he looked me up. He's like, "Hey, I love Christmas Clatter. Can you help me uh, podcast?" So I was able to kind of coach him through the podcast, starting a podcast kind of thing, and we talk message, several times a week, and hopefully one of these days we'll be able to get together and have lunch in real life one of these days. But yeah, that's Ken Smith. He's a good guy. His son's in the Green Berets too, so he's gonna have his first Christmas abroad this year. So
Oh, nice.
yeah,
I mean,
so
thank him for his service. Nice in
yeah,
some ways, not nice in
yeah,
others, but yeah, we were talking about veterans. So happy Veterans Day to your son. That's
yeah,
awesome. That's
yeah.
great. All right. So going back through, so like you said, your YouTube channel is fairly newer, but I like to ask this question to all content creators because one thing that I want to get across with my channel specifically, my platform, I want to use to help people create content. There's a lot of people. I've got a friend of mine that I talk to every day here locally. He's been talking about starting a YouTube channel for 2 years.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know if he's listening. Sometimes he's listening. Sometimes I'll go back and watch, but start your channel. Um, so going back since you started your YouTube channel, if you go back to video number 1, first of
Mhm.
all, how do you feel now about video number 1? And the second part of the question is, um, how do you feel that your video and that your processes or whatever, your content has changed since that first video?
Uh, well, I haven't watched video 1 since it came out, but kind of looking at the thumbnail and stuff, it was on that little you know, webcam I talked about, so I'm sure the video quality is not that great. I was kind of happy with the video. Um, I believe I did my. It was right when the Hallmark released its Christmas ornaments for this year. They had the catalog out, so I did like my 5 favorite, with a few honorable mentions. So I really enjoyed it. I, don't- I've probably changed. I would probably, as far as change, it would be a little bit smoother as far as some of the editing goes, more technical kind of stuff, other than content as far as the changes right now. Um,
Right. And that's all
kind
stuff we
of
kind of learn along the way too.
yeah, kind of the thing with Christmas Clatters, I do so many different things that it's hard for me to really nail down, one. It's like, I do some top 10, or top 5 lists, which is one thing, but I've done like, I've done one song reaction too, and I wanted to do more, but the problem is uh, being so steeped in Christmas for so long, it's hard for me to find a song I haven't heard, and I don't
Right.
want to go looking for one. I want, people to suggest them to. I don't want to sound like I'm, bragging about that or anything, but it's like I want it to be legit. I want to be a song that it's legit that I haven't heard. You know, I just released a trailer reaction with a friend of mine, Anthony Crusoe from Tis the Podcast. For the Black Friday movie coming out, and that was a little bit different. You know, as far as technically pulling it off and things. Um, so I'm still trying to figure out all the, I guess, the editing styles that it takes, and I don't have any. When I started the podcast, I had some like sound engineering experience because I'm a bass player, been playing bass for a long, long time, and played in bands and stuff. So that stuff wasn't, podcasting was foreign to me. But as far as like looking at sound waves and making sound good, it wasn't that different.
Right.
Um, the computer stuff and doing the website things, that was completely new, and I had to learn that. And then jumping into video, I had no idea. It's just like, I would load up my video to edit, and on one screen, and on the other screen I had YouTube, and it's like, okay, how do I, cut the video and put a cross dissolve in? I'd look it up on YouTube. I'd find somebody. I'd listen. Then I go back and do it, and then, and then I go back to YouTube to find, my next thing, and that's basically what I did. And you know, and so I think just getting a little cleaner, a little smoother on the edits. Making sure my. The other thing is with a podcast, you can kind of take your time to get there, but with YouTube on certain things, you want to make sure you get to the point a little quicker. And I think
Right.
I'm getting a little bit more tighter about that, when I do a reaction, be like, okay, here's my reaction. And then it's over, instead of winding it up and trying to, having a long wind up kind of thing. So
Yeah. That's been something too so I've been doing this for a couple of years on 2 different channels, and that's something that I've worked on too, because once I get started I can talk. And
yeah,
I've got videos that are 30 minutes long, and I mean, let's be honest, nobody is watching unless it's super interesting, super engaging. Nobody's watching a 30-minute video on YouTube, right? Um,
Yeah.
and that's something I've worked on also, is making my videos shorter, getting the information out there to a point, being done, and moving on, because that's what people
Yeah.
want. I'm right there with you. I've had to work on that.
Yeah. Yeah, that YouTube's humbling because when it was just a podcast, I'd get the download numbers. It's like, oh, look at all these people that download and listen to my episode. Then you get to YouTube, it's like, oh, look at all these people that watched 3 minutes of it, So, so it was really humbling. I remember, I'm gonna tell you this, and I'm not gonna tell you this because I'm on your live stream with you. I remember watching your first video, and I'm like, dude, I want to learn to edit like that guy, because now when I watch a YouTube video, I'm like, I'm not really watching the video, I'm like watching the editing, and it's like, man, I really want to pull that off. You
You're
know,
you're talking about the first video on this channel.
not no,
I'm
the first video of yours that I watched. I don't remember when it
Was it on
but
this channel though?
yeah, it was on this channel,
Okay, because I've
and
learned a
one of
lot from my first channel till now. Some of the stuff on my
yeah,
first, like if I go back and look at the first video on my first
yeah,
channel, I'm like, oh, that's so bad.
yeah.
But
Yeah. Now there was one where I can't remember, but it's like it showed you walking into the studio and turning the lights on and stuff like that. And man, that's like that dude can edit video, and I need to learn. I need to get my game up to that. So
I appreciate it. I mean, if you
yeah,
ever have a question, you reach out anytime. I'm
yeah,
more than happy. And that's really how I kind of got into this channel, because people would ask me questions all the time,
yeah.
like different creation type questions, and I just started loving. I love helping people anyway,
Oh,
and
good.
I started loving just getting those questions. I'm like, I should really do this channel, and so that's kind of how this all started.
I'm
And
not
there's
afraid to
people
take you up
saying,
on that myself.
yeah, for sure. There's people saying they watch 30-minute videos. Yeah, I mean, I will too if it's the right
Oh yeah.
one. There's some that I won't, you know.
Mhm.
Dole Whip Dad says favorite Christmas song, and he says Last Christmas from George Michael's the right answer. I don't know if that's my favorite. Now, I don't hate that song. I don't know why so many people hate that song.
Yeah. I don't
Um,
either.
it's not. I wouldn't say it's my favorite though. Todd, what's your favorite Christmas song?
Oh, that's tough. It kind of depends on the mood I'm in. It's usually "Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas." That just kind of always pulls at my heartstrings. Amy Grant has a great version from her album from like 1992 that I just absolutely love. Is usually my go-to. Nat King Cole's "A Christmas Song" is one I just absolutely love as well. Uh, Megan Trainor has one called "I'll Be Home" that is fantastic too. Um, that just really I really love. There's usually two camps on Christmas music. Yeah, you got the people that like the pop and new stuff, and people that like the traditional. And I love both. And I love Last Christmas. George Michael's was Christmas #1 and Christmas #2. The year Last Christmas came out, because he's also part of Band Aid's "Do They Know It's Christmas at All?" He's the only person to be on the first and second spot on Christmas #1 and 2. So
I didn't know that. That's cool.
yeah,
I like that song. I mean, I can't say it's my favorite, but that's just because there's so many great songs. Now I'm on the traditional side. I do like, and when I say I'm on the traditional side, I'm on the traditional side with almost every genre of music.
yeah,
I'm a big country music fan,
mhm,
but most country music past like 1995, I can't stand.
yeah,
Um, and there's some exceptions to that. And as the years go, from 95 until now, those exceptions get smaller every year.
yeah,
There was still a lot of great country in the late 90s.
mhm,
Now, but traditional for me, it's Santa Claus is coming to town. And of course, I'm going to draw a blank on the specific artist that sang it. One of the old crooners. Why can I not remember his name? But
I
that's
thought you talk about like Gene Autry's version of that, or
not Gene Autry. I do like his version. I like his music.
yeah, or like Bing
Um,
Crosby, or
I want to say Bing Crosby. I've got the CD
yeah.
downstairs in the van because it stays down there. I'm gonna send you a message and let you know which one it is.
Yeah. Well, it's just so many of them covered that song specifically, at the time. But yeah, I love all the crooners and stuff.
So yeah, Ellie says it's the time of year Michael Bublé and Mariah Carey. Oh, the Mariah Carey
Oh
Christmas
yeah,
memes. I saw the memes I
yeah,
saw where she was like popping out of a turkey
yeah.
or something. Like,
Yeah, I seen the Shining spoof. You know, so yeah, but that's pretty good. But I love that Mariah Carey album. I know a lot of people don't like All I Want for Christmas Is You, but I love that song, and that album as a whole is off the charts good. It kind of gets overshadowed by the popularity of that song, but
yeah,
yeah,
it's like
I love
everything
it.
else though. I think a lot of that comes down to how often people hear something, and then for
Yeah,
whatever reason it becomes popular to dislike. Like
yeah,
Nickelback, for example.
yeah, yeah,
I've joked about it, but I don't dislike Nickelback.
mhm,
They have some good music, but it's fun
yeah.
to talk about.
Yeah, it's funny because it's like the opposite of, It's a Wonderful Life. It's something that was everywhere and everybody loved it, and then you have a song that's everywhere, and then people start learning to hate it after a while. So,
Yeah. So Zeb Beard says he goes for the classic also. Yeah, I'm
yeah,
traditional classic with almost everything. My
yeah.
wife will tell
I
you.
yeah, I save. I listen to I don't listen to Christmas music steadily year round, but I will listen to it year round. But I save like a lot of the classic Christmas stuff. Um, for the holiday season because I don't want to tire of it, listening to it year round and
Right.
stuff. Yeah, Andy Williams, Most Wonderful Time of the Year, is great. And I don't know if anybody's out there that is a vinyl collector. I love collecting vinyl records. Andy Williams is great and he's wonderful as an artist. Um, I always knew it, and you can hear it, through streaming and through CDs. And I end up picking up his vinyl that Christmas album on vinyl, and the difference between listening to it streaming or on CD versus vinyl will blow you out of the water. Just just something about the tone of his voice coming from the vinyl is, and not everybody's like that, a lot of times. But if you guys have the opportunity to play a little Christmas music on vinyl, especially like Andy Williams or something, you'll be blown away by the difference of the audio quality of it.
Yeah, I've noticed recently too, on that topic. So I don't know. It's been a couple of months ago. I was in Target. I don't go out to stores very often. Um, it's just not my thing. But I was in Target. I don't like being out in stores. But I was in there and I noticed that there's a lot of vinyl on the shelves now. It's like
Yeah.
vinyl records are making a comeback, and so I was like, man, it'd be pretty
Yeah.
cool to have a record player.
Yeah, they are. I mean, I had bought one of them little briefcase looking record players, for like $30 on Black Friday or something. And it was cool, man. It sounded pretty good and it was cool. And I've upgraded since then. And it's just a lot of fun. Just something about the analog in the air is really, really nice.
Yeah. Hey Jeff, have a good night, man. I appreciate you being here.
Thanks, Jeff.
And I
Appreciate
told
it.
you my wife would throw that out there. Very traditional. He isn't kidding. Yeah.
I don't blame you. You look up some of them Christmas albums from like Eddie Arnold or something like that. Those are really cool. You know,
Hey,
if
what's
it's
up,
not
Josue?
going,
Good to see you, man. I don't know if I've seen the Small Town Titans version of You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch. I have
yeah,
to
I
look
don't
that
know
up.
if I know that one either. Santa Dad, he might have stumped me with one. I don't know if I've heard or not. So
Sounds like a blind reaction.
yeah, could be,
Here we go.
could be. I'll have to make note of that real quick.
Oh,
Alrighty.
Come All Ye Faithful by Twisted Sister. I have not heard
Yeah.
their version of that.
Oh, that Twisted Sister's Christmas album is legit good. I know it sounds ridiculous. I mean, I'm a Twisted Sister fan anyway. I love rock music, and so it sounds ridiculous to say Twisted Sister's Christmas album's legit good. It is legit good. Their version of Deck the Halls is probably one of my favorite versions of Deck the Halls, and it's not. It is. You figure they would be. They're real respectful of the songs. I mean, they do it in the classic Twisted Sister way,
Right.
but they are real respectful of the songs, and I'm not kidding. That whole album is legit good, especially
I'm gonna
if you're a rock fan.
I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah,
I've got so after we get done here, I've got some work. I've got some labels and some graphic stuff to work on tonight.
yeah,
I'll be listening to Twisted Sister. I'm gonna look up the Mr. Grinch song first, but then I'll jam out to some Twisted Sister Christmas music.
yeah.
Hot Tub
Oh, yeah.
Lady, welcome in. First of all, glad to have you here.
Yes.
She literally saved my pool this year. So
Oh,
we
yeah.
had our swimming pool got a hole. Our vacuum somehow ripped a hole in the bottom of our pool liner, and it was in the
Oh,
very
no.
bottom, so I had no choice but to drain it.
Uh-huh.
And so my thought was, we'll just drain the pool and fill it up next year. And she sent me a message on IG, and she's like, "Hey, you can't do that. You need to get your liner replaced." And I'm like, "Thank you."
Yeah. Yeah. She's great. I saw she put up her tree a couple days ago and
Yeah.
stuff, but she's she's one that's really been working at it, the YouTube thing this year, real hard. So
Yep.
yeah.
She started streaming recently also.
Yep. Yep.
And Santa Dad, I appreciate that. All right, guys, we have so Todd. We're gonna do some Christmas. We're not gonna be on too much longer. I want to do some Christmas,
Okay.
this or that.
Okay.
And so this will be for you and everybody in the chat. Participate also if you'd like. If not, that's cool too. But these are some questions that I'm just seeing for the first time because my wife picks these out. And so she sent these to me 10 minutes before we went live.
Okay.
And so we'll go through some of these and then we'll close out. Again, in the chat, if you guys want to throw your answers, we'll go through those. All right. So Todd, would you rather have elf ears or a Santa beard?
Santa beard. Give me the Santa beard.
Yeah,
I'd rather
that's an
have
easy
that.
one.
Yep.
Easy
Trying
for
to
me.
work on it myself.
It's coming along. You got a nice beard there.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Yep. So guys in the chat, let me know, elf ears or a Santa beard? I have a feeling with most of my crowd here, it's probably going to be a lot of beards.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like, well, I already got that, So.
So Santa Dad says Santa beard. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yep. He's working on it too.
Yep. See the beard.
Yeah.
Billy Rogers already has a Santa beard. Yes,
Yep.
sir.
Yep. Got a big beard brigade here. So
I think, Grilling 615 beard. I think this one was pretty easy. I think this was a gimme. All right. So let's see what else we have here. Well, Rush Young says beard and ears. That's fair enough. Fair enough.
All right.
Beard Devato says, fun fact, I have both. All right. All right. So if you could choose to relive a past winter holiday again or get to travel to a future winter holiday, which would you choose?
Well, I'd go in the past. I don't really know why, but it's like Christmas 1955 always seems like a great year for Christmas. I don't really have anything to base that on other than that kind of mid-century, flair. If I think back, my dad was like 5 years old. It's, kind of seemed like a more innocent time, even though it probably really wasn't. But it just seems cool. I love the mid-century stuff. I probably would, if I could, I'd like go back to like Christmas 1955, buy a bunch of decorations and bring them back, and things. But
I could see that. Yeah.
Yeah, just because they were just so cool back then, and people are pining for that stuff now to decorate with.
I have a feeling that'll be the dominant answer. I mean, I would say,
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I don't know. That's a hard one because a lot of people kind of know my background. We talked a little bit about, but if I did say past, it wouldn't be too many years in the past.
Yeah.
So I think I would say I'm just kind of good where we are right now. Let's do this Christmas.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it would be kind of cool, like you just said, to go back in like the 50s or something that's not even my memory, but just kind of go back and see Christmas.
Yeah.
Back then.
If you look back at photos and see the storefronts and things, they're just a little bit more than what they are now, as far as being decorated and stuff. Just something about the nostalgia of that time period has always, gotten me. And like I said, I really don't know why. It just always feels like it. It's like the early birth of rock and roll was, coming up, and I mean, past World War II, Korean War is kind of fading out. Vietnam's really not a thing yet. So, I don't know. Like I said, it could. I don't know at all, so I could be completely wrong and making it all up in my head. But that's what always hit me, So
And most people are saying past. That seems to be
Yeah.
the. Vato
Yeah.
says he can't go back that long. He was born in '85. Hey, that's still a different time than now,
Yeah, you can go back to 85, get you a Teddy Ruxpin or something like that.
right?
Cabbage Patch Kid.
All right. So this next question, I would say it's tough, but it's not because I already kind of know this. But good question. All right.
Uh-huh.
So for Christmas movies, would you rather watch Elf or It's a Wonderful Life?
It's a Wonderful Life. But
Yeah.
man, Elf is good. That's not to say I don't like Elf. Elf is great as well.
Yeah.
But if I had to
I'd
pick
say
one,
It's a Wonderful Life, and then right after that, I'm watching Elf.
yeah. Yeah. Elf was a classic, and Will Ferrell just turned down like $30 million to make the sequel a few weeks ago.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So yeah, they've been after him to do a sequel for years now. And it started off at like 12 million, and they kept bumping up the number to 30. It's around 30 million, maybe like 28 exactly. And he keeps turning it down. He says the movie does not need a sequel. And as far as I know, he's always going to refuse to do a sequel to Elf, which is fine by me. Not every movie needs a sequel.
Right. Have you seen the Netflix special? It's a series of the movies that made us, I think it's called.
Yeah, the
They did
Christmas
one on
movies that
Elf.
made us. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, that's a good.
Ellie
That whole
says,
series is good.
yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Speaking of that
Christmas.
series, well, Ellie says, can I vote for Christmas Story instead? Absolutely. If you want to go Christmas
Yeah,
Story, we'll do that.
yeah.
Elf. All right, Billy, I'm coming back to your comment because I'm going to ask that. That's a new question, but I'm going to ask anyway. I think we talked about this in one of your streams. Santa Dad says Elf so I can enjoy with my young daughters. Yeah. Oh, man,
Yeah.
my daughter loves that movie so much.
Mhm. Yeah.
Hot Tub Lady, so Jack, if you're still in here, I appreciate it. Go watch the Steelers beat up on the Bears. Yeah, for tonight, go Steelers. Yes. Let me go. Where's that? Okay, so he says Die Hard.
Yep.
So, obviously, no pressure. I mean, this is like a conversation that's always going to be around, but is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
Well, you have two camps for Die Hard. You have those that are yippee ki yay and those that are yippee ki nay. And I always fall in the yippee ki yay category. Die Hard is absolutely a Christmas movie. You know, it's set at Christmas. The soundtrack is full of Christmas. It has great Christmas themes in it. And even though it's an action movie, it is definitely a Christmas movie. It's about family coming together. In fact, I have a full video coming out on that, hopefully by the end of the week, if not next week for sure, where I really dive a little deeper into whether Die Hard is a Christmas movie. But everybody knows I say it is, and I, I tie it to a movie that is absolutely agreed upon as a Christmas movie in the similarities of the two. But Die Hard is absolutely yippee ki yay a Christmas movie all the way. And I have a hard and fast rule that any movie with Christmas in it is a Christmas movie, and that is kind of some silliness because you get movies that really are barely have any Christmas in it, like the first Jurassic World that came out. You know, opening scene was Christmas time, and I think it took place over like the weekend after Christmas or something. So that would count, but I'll take that because I don't want to spend too much time on trying to figure out what is or isn't a Christmas movie. And if you listen to like some of the Christmas movie podcasts, they have different criteria. If it gave you the Christmas feels, if it had what they call a Linus moment, and that's from the Peanuts when Linus comes out and says, "I'll tell you what Christmas is all about." Charlie Brown. Some people call it the Scrooge moment or the Grinch moment, where Christmas somehow changes their heart and stuff. But I'm just like, if it's got Christmas in it, then I'm going to count it as a Christmas movie. But Die Hard definitely is. It meets a lot of the Christmas beats, and if you want to get down to it, it's like anything that you take on as a Christmas tradition becomes tied to Christmas. Jingle Bells is like the most popular Christmas song ever, just about, and it is not a Christmas song, and it doesn't even mention Christmas. And the closest you get is Jingle and Bells and Snow, and
Right.
that's it. It's Die Hard has more Christmas in it than the song Jingle Bells. So
That's a fair
it's
point.
hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
All right. Hey, So Zeb Beard says, "Let's go Bears." Do I have any mods in here? We need to take care of this rogue individual. Just kidding, man. All right, let's see. Let's do a couple, one or two more.
Okay.
Let's see what else we have. Okay, here's a good one. Would you rather eat your cereal with eggnog instead of milk, or eat a candy cane sandwich? So cereal with eggnog replacing the milk, or a candy cane sandwich.
Give me the eggnog. I love eggnog. And so with cereal in it wouldn't be too different than what it is. I mean, I get it. I pour eggnog and, I put whipped cream on top of it and nutmeg and grab a cinnamon stick to start with. And so a little cereal in there would not be too different at all. So
I'm 100% with you.
Yeah.
100%. I love eggnog. I'm the only one in my house that likes it.
Yeah, it's good. It's really, really good. And I wish it was available throughout the year more often. They did have it at Easter this year. Somebody did release some like Easter eggnog or something. It was just eggnog, but it was packaged for Easter, and that made me happy. So
yeah, so eggnog. So far we have two of the eggnog. Yeah, a candy cane sandwich would be hard. I like candy canes, but
yeah,
putting them on bread and trying to chew, I don't know, that'd be weird.
that would be enjoyable. In fact, the more I'm thinking about it, the more I think I might try eggnog and cereal. Maybe like a little Captain Crunch or something, and the eggnog might be pretty good.
I agree, Mel. When you go to Walmart, because I'm sure you'll be back there tomorrow, we need eggnog.
Yeah. Well, the question is what cereal to put in there. I mean, Captain Crunch might be pretty good, but do you do like Cookie Crisp? Get the little chocolate chip cookies in there. I don't think Fruit Loops would be the best, but I don't
Probably
know.
not.
Yeah.
Maybe like I don't know, Frosted Mini Wheats probably wouldn't be too bad.
Yeah, that wouldn't
I
be
think
bad.
you'd have to go a little on the plain side.
Yeah. Well, if you get like them pumpkin spice Cheerios or something to throw in there, that wouldn't be too bad.
Yeah. So yeah, she said, I like the. Okay, here's a question. I like this. Favorite eggnog add-in. I mean, I'm right in the center of bourbon country, so it's bourbon. And I'm not a heavy drinker, but I do enjoy bourbon from time to time.
Yeah. I'm not a drinker at all, but I enjoy putting the nutmeg and the spices in there to make it a little bit better. But yeah, that's what I like, the whipped cream and the cinnamon stick. The cinnamon stick's the key because you can swirl it around and you can use it for a straw. And yeah,
eggnog on Jello. I've never heard of that.
I might have to try that myself.
And Mel says going with the candy canes. She hates eggnog, so.
Yeah. I thought she loved Christmas. I guess we were wrong.
I'm the only person, like I said, in my house that likes eggnog. I don't get it. I don't know what's wrong with these people. So Ken had eggnog with Raisin Bran. I could see that.
That might not. That wouldn't be too bad. I don't think so. Yeah. The problem with Raisin Bran is the flakes get too soggy too fast. So.
Eggnog pancakes. I saw Ellie make that comment up here. I'm going to try that also. I've never.
Yeah. Yeah. I've made eggnog cookies before. They're pretty good. So.
Can you blend the candy canes? Yeah, you probably would have to crunch them, grind them up or something.
It's just something about having that crunchy candy in between soft bread just doesn't, as a texture thing, doesn't appeal to me. I don't think it's the taste. It would just be the texture of the crunchy and the soft bread just getting all up in your teeth.
So Ken says, his name is Ken, right? I have that right?
Yep.
I thought so because, it's mine too, so I thought I remember that right. Yep. Old Forester bourbon with nog. There you go. I'm a Four Roses guy, but any of that.
Yeah.
All right, so let's do one more because we need to start to wrap up here.
Okay.
Here's a good one. If you could choose a movie scene to be a part of, right?
Uh-huh.
Would you choose to be in a scene from Home Alone or from Elf?
Oh, man. Probably Elf. I would love to be one of the elves in the background. As far as Home Alone, there's not a lot of extra scenes that you could be a part of unless you're going to be like, one of the main characters, which nobody wants me to be acting in a movie, but I would love to be, one of them elves making the etch and sketch and being like, did he just say cotton head and any muggins? And
right.
that would really be my speed. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I want to say Home Alone because I love that movie. I think it'd be cool to be a part of
yeah,
that. But you'd almost have to say Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. There's more people, more opportunities to be an
right,
extra. Um,
yeah,
but
yeah,
Elf would be cool too. That's a tough one. That's a
yeah.
tough one.
It is a tough one. Um, you know, but yeah, it would be cool to get, especially if they let me keep that elf costume. That would be really cool. You know, so
Yeah. I
yeah,
mean, one of my favorite parts of Elf is when he's first leaving the North Pole and he's traveling,
uh-huh,
down to New York, and he jumps on the ice block that
right,
cracks off, and you
right,
see the narwhal comes out. Um, you know,
yeah,
bye, buddy. Hope you find your dad.
yeah, yeah.
And then you have, he's going through the woods. He gets attacked by the raccoon. That whole scene is just hilarious.
Yeah,
But
it
that,
is. It just, so much of that movie was improvised too, and just having Will Ferrell do all that stuff and things. But someone mentioned loving a Christmas Story. Peter Billingsley, who played Ralphie, was one of the elves in an Elf, and made a cameo in that. So that was always really really cool.
let's see. So Santa Dad does Home Alone.
Yeah,
And Bearded Vato says E-Rock could be the Grinch because he hates everything. There you go. Whatever works.
yeah.
All right, Todd. So,
Uh,
so just one more question to kind of wrap up here.
okay.
Obviously, we're getting right into your main season. I mean, Christmas season is here. So,
Yeah.
any big thing coming up that you want to talk about during Christmas season and then beyond? What's the future for Christmas Clatter?
Well, I've been, having some people that had books on and stuff kind of heavy. I got some, musical uh, guests coming on that have new music out, and especially independent artists. I've really enjoyed highlighting some of their music because there's a lot of great independent music out there, or people on small labels that deserve a good listen to. I have coming out the week of Thanksgiving. It'll be available on Spotify, YouTube Music, and Apple Music, a playlist called Christmas Spotlight, in which I'll be putting on, my favorite songs from independent artists. Because sometimes they get buried in the the Titan songs of the season, which is understandable, but just a place for people can find those if they're looking for something different. Um, as we get closer to December, the podcast will turn to be more about Christmas, and then they get a little bit more personal, a little bit more reflective, up until the 23rd. My last episodes uh, before Christmas are on the 23rd and not the 24th. Um, and and so just hop on and finish out the journey to Christmas, and then we'll be doing some things in January and February. We'll be around, not as solid as as much as we are right now, but I need that little bit of break to recharge and get a few things done. But I won't completely disappear, and then we'll get fired back up, after Valentine's Day with a more uh, frequent schedule and things. So, but I have several guests booked and things. I have a few things that hopefully they work out that you guys will be happy with. But I don't want to over promise on those. But got a lot coming up and different things, and just you know Christmas Clatter is just a place where we can celebrate everything that makes Christmas special, and we're here for you whenever you need a little Christmas now.
There you go. So I'm gonna so Todd, let everybody know where they can find you. So I do have on this graphic I've got YouTube and Instagram. Obviously you're in more
Yeah,
places. And in the description of this live stream, guys, I do have links to both of these. I'm gonna go back and add links for the podcast and for other things. But Todd, just in case they didn't hear, where all can they find you besides YouTube and
yep,
IG?
yeah. It's just Christmas Clatter wherever, except Twitter is Xmas Clatter because of the character limitations.
Yeah.
ChristmasClatter.com is my website. There's a few blogs up there. I hadn't been able to put a blog up recently, but there's still some relative stuff on there that's really good. And it has links to all my social medias there at christmasclatter.com. If you're looking into, I had a whole series I did last year on the blogs about, getting prepared for Christmas to make it as easy as possible. It's a whole series. It's still available there. So if you're feeling a little bit stressed out about getting ready for Christmas, if you just read through, I think it's 7 steps. So you just kind of read through those and follow the steps, it'll help you get all the busyness out of your mind and planned and organized so that you can have a more enjoyable holiday season. But the quickest, easiest place is just christmasclatter.com, and then that will take you to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, wherever your preferred method is. That way, or you could just subscribe to the website and then get notified when new things pop up there, because the YouTube feed and the podcast feed both pop up the new episodes directly on the website. So
I love that you have a website. That's the easiest way to put
Yeah.
everything in one place. When somebody says, "Where can I find
Yeah.
you?" christmasclatter.com. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you guys this that are in content creation. I was going to have Darlene Love on the podcast. And for those who don't know, Darlene Love is beloved in the Christmas community. She's the first she was in Phil Spector's Capitol Records as a singer, and she's got a fantastic story. She was kind of the star of the Oscar-winning documentary from 2013 called 20 Feet from Stardom. But I missed her because I didn't have a website at the time. And, so her agent, couldn't double check me or verify me or anything. So that really put a spur into me to have a nice, solid website for someone to go to just to look and see, everything that's available. So, for you guys out there making stuff, it doesn't take a lot and it don't cost a lot of money to have just a quality page for people to land on, and I encourage everybody to do it. And,
Agree 100%. Yeah.
yeah.
Yep. So for me, you guys, most of you in here know where to find me at. You're on the YouTube channel already. KenTheContentCoach.com is kind of same as Todd here. Everything's available from the website, so you'll find links to everything there. My email, ken@kenthecontentcoach.com. If I can help you guys in any way, feel free to reach out at any moment. As long as I'm awake and I will answer the comment. IG, email, either way, or across any social media at the bottom. So those links are all over the website, description of videos, all that stuff. So appreciate all you all being here.
Yeah, thank you.
And Todd, it was great, man. We've gone almost 2 hours, and we could probably go another 2. This is awesome.
Man,
We'll have to do this again.
Yeah, that's like you saying something about wrapping up. I say, well, it's been an hour already, and it's been closer to 2. That's always that's when know it's great, So
Yep.
how it is.
We'll have to plan something maybe after the holidays are done and all that. We'll come back together maybe around, I don't know, first of the year. Sometime we'll talk about it for sure because this was fun.
Yeah, it absolutely was. Yeah, I will message you because I have something I'm planning on for right at the first of the year. I want you to be a part of. So
okay, awesome.
I'll let you know. So
okay. All right, everybody that was here tonight, thank you. Santa Dad, Grilling 615. I think those were the only 2. If I miss anybody, I'm so sorry. But everybody that was here tonight, thank you all so much for hanging out. This has been a blast. You guys know Dan C. Beard is going live at 9. I believe he has on, I hope I'm not wrong, the Bearded Mac, I think, tonight. So, of course, check out Dan C. Bearded. He's one that I support every single week.
He's good.
Yep. So have a great week, everybody, and we will see you guys next time. Remember, just hit record. And, Todd, do you have a closing line?
Yes. Remember, keep Christmas hope alive every day.
Absolutely. You guys have a great week. Thanks again.